Okay, welcome back to the last in this series of free newsletter videos. I'm going to talk a little bit about stick spinning today because somebody requested that. Now, this is how the website works. If you get yourself a Gold Pass membership, I post new VIP lessons at least once a week, and you can request topics in the forum section on the website, and I will try and cover those things in the lessons. So if there's anything that you want to learn about, post a request and I will make a video on that for you. I'm also going to give you a link in this video to check out the first part of the Chris Coleman solo workshop. Now, the deal with this is around Christmas last year, a friend of mine, Louis Palmer, was chatting to me on Facebook, and he sent me the link to this Chris Coleman solo and said, transcribe that with smiley face at the end of it. And I can't resist a challenge like that, so I spent most of my Christmas transcribing the solo, which was a lot harder than I expected it to be. Actually, that's not true. It didn't take that long to transcribe it, but some of the things were a little bit strange. I had to watch the video and slow the video down to see how he was sticking some of the fills, because it was different to the way I would do it. And then basically I documented the progress of me learning to play that solo, and it takes me as long as anybody else. So it's the solo workshop is a 3-part series where you will learn to play the solo exactly how Chris Coleman plays it. It's very hard to get it up to speed, but to play it maybe at 80% of the speed of the original isn't too bad, and you'll find that a lot of the things in there that sound ridiculously complicated actually aren't too difficult. And you'll see me struggling with the bits if you check out the solo workshop. So I'm going to post a link on this newsletter page. Well, in fact, you'll have the video underneath for the first part of the Chris Coleman solo workshop. So check that out, and if you like it, a Gold Pass membership will give you access to the whole of that series, plus all of the other masterclass videos and all the VIP lessons where you can request topics. So moving on, I'm going to show you the stick spins that I use. I play with a band called Wishbone Ash, and we play a song called Phoenix, which is when I bring all these things out just for fun. It's usually the last song in the set, and it's 17 minutes long. It keeps it interesting for me, and the audience seem to like it. There are ways of spinning sticks that involve the stick leaving your hand. For example, this one. If you start just holding it like this, and you put your ring finger, I guess that's what that's called, your third one, under the back, okay? You can flick that round and then catch it with that one, and then you can flick that over the top and get it with your thumb, and then you can go back round again. This is like you might twiddle a biro, so you can get a pen and practice just taking it around all of those fingers. You see, there I'm not going around the index finger, I'm going just round those 2 middle fingers. But you can go over the top if you've got enough momentum, which you can't really get with a pen. So with a stick, you can flick it around the top finger. So that's basically flicking it with that middle finger, and then it just goes around the top. And you have to flick, I think, whoops. See, I don't use this one very much because I feel like I'm going to drop it. So if you just do it around the top one, sometimes it can be like that. If you're too high up, then it's not going to go around your finger, it's going to go off into the stratosphere. So I think you need to have, I don't really know, you've got to be near the middle. But the way if I'm going to use that, I do this starting with the ring finger, so you get 2 spins out of it, and then I'll catch it. And you can use this to switch from traditional grip, so you're playing this way around, with your left hand. So you're in traditional grip with those 2 fingers on the top, and then from there you can prop it round and just do that move, which will get you into some kind of match grip if you play like this. So from there into this. But like I say, I don't use this one. It does look cool. And another way you can do that is to use the cymbal to start it off. So you actually start with that finger behind, and you use the edge of the cymbal, and then you can flick off around. That's what I mean by it being dangerous. Okay, so I very rarely use this. If I use this on a gig, it's one of those moments where I have another stick handy. So basically, that kind of gives you a run up. It gives you some, like a spring of tension there that you can then see. Okay, so you can work on that and do it better than I can. So they are both spins where the stick essentially leaves your hand and they feel dangerous to do to me. Then there's this one, which the bass player in my band when I was 14 and the guitarist could both do better than me, and still probably the case because I can only get about 3 or 4 things and then it seems to leave my fingers. But basically all that is you're holding the stick like that and wiggling these 2 fingers, okay? But you kind of throw the end round. So if you're looking at the palm of your hand, and this is the way you want to do it, where you're looking straight at the palm of your hand and then the stick goes in there and then the tip goes in towards your body. So you just kind of squeeze up with that finger. That gets it going. See what I mean? You need a ready supply of sticks. So, but from the side, this looks pretty lame. It just looks like it's doing that. So this is one that you need to do. Front onto the audience if you're doing it. And I dislike drummers who play a groove and then in between songs they sit there and do this. I think that looks show-offy. So what I like is things that are in the middle of a groove that you just put in every now and again, almost like you haven't noticed them. I only started doing this because I saw Jerry Brown doing it. And there's 2 Jerry Brown drummers now, but this is the guy who used to play for Stevie Wonder. And I saw a recording of him playing with Stevie Wonder, some BBC live session thing. And every now and again he would just throw in these stick spins and they were really cool, but it wasn't this one either. So I don't use this one very much. What I do use sometimes is the reverse of this, which is that. And I just use one spin of this. And I spent a long time trying to get this down because you have to do this to get the spin. You need some, like, no, you can do it from there, but basically you've got to have a bit of a wrist movement to set it off. So it's just essentially the reverse of this one with this tip going in towards your body. It's going the other way, and I'll just, like I say, just do one revolution and try and get it so that my hand, again, from here, I'll bring my hand up and basically I'm looking flat at my palm. There's no angle, so that I know that whoever's in front of me is seeing this go 360 degrees round. So this is a nice one you can use in grooves. This is not going to look so good from your angle, but you can play a groove like this. So basically the audience is getting this view. Doesn't even record that well on camera. These sticks probably aren't the best colour for it. You need some glow in the dark ones. So basically I'm hitting the hi-hat and then the arm coming up is giving me the momentum to get this stick to spin round. And basically it's all about getting your hand up like this in front of your face. So if you get in a funny angle, it's not going to look good. You need to be like that. So I use that one sometimes because I'm keeping hold of the stick while I do that. And the one I use most of the time is, well, let me show you. I think this is a baton twirling move. Basically, if you hold the stick between your thumb and index finger, like this, okay? You can twizzle it like that. You've got so much of a rotation before it hits your thumb or your finger. You know, you can't go all the way around. So what you do is you kind of twirl it this way, and then the tip of the stick is going to come in and your arm rotates so that the tip goes over the top, and now you're like this, okay? And then it continues this way, and then your arm comes back around. Oops. So this is what's happening. You can do it almost all with your arm. You're basically moving your arm around the stick, trying to keep the stick essentially in one plane all the time. I'm not doing a good job here, but basically that's what's happening slowly. Tip's coming in, going over the top, the butt of the stick goes underneath, okay? Tip goes over the top of your arm, the butt goes underneath. So that's what's going on, but when you give it a bit of a spin like this to start off with, again, from this angle, that doesn't look very good, but the equivalent, actually, I'm not sure if this is what I think it is. I think it's the same thing as what I do, basically, but that's a move that you can do, spinning the stick that way around. Okay, but again, because it's horizontal, it doesn't look that good, I don't think. So the move is, this is the secret one that everybody wants to know after a gig. I'm playing this way with my thumb on top, and I throw the stick, the tip of the stick up this way. And again, it hits my thumb like it does here. Okay, so it is the same thing. And what happens is I move, the tip goes under the arm like this, and the arm comes round, and then it comes back up, and I hit the cymbal. So from the front, it looks like this. So it's basically spinning on the way round. And if you go from the hi-hat to the crash cymbal over there, then it actually works with your arm motion. And you can do it back as well. Okay, and that's kind of like a gymnast doing a backflip type thing. Okay, flying through the air. Now, it looks better. You can make it look like it's going around twice if you do that move and then pull it back. So it kind of goes to there, and then you pull it back and then you hit. So I'll sometimes use that when I'm going to hit a crash, like a wind up. And the key to this is basically allowing your grip here to get out of the way of what the stick wants to do. So you send the stick towards you like this, and then you just try and get out of the way. Okay? So if I do it and stop there, it doesn't look as good as if I do it and stop and pull it back at the end. So I use that a lot, and I use that for crashes over here. You know, I'll kind of be, every time I want to go for a crash from the hi-hat, I'll do that. You get both hands going together. I'm trying to see the screen to see if it looks okay. So that's the move that I use a lot. And it's really easy once you've figured out how that works. It's very easy to do, and I rarely drop a stick like that unless I catch it underneath a cymbal or something. So they are the two stick twirls that I use. They don't record well. I don't recommend using these while you're on a session, but they do look good. I mean, I'm not huge on the showmanship thing. I don't wear the muscle vests or the like bandanas or that kind of stuff. But I do like to watch a good drummer, who has a little bit of showmanship and is doing a little bit of that kind of thing. So it's nice to throw it in every now and again. So I hope you have understood those. Post messages if you're having problems. You could even like post a video of you trying to do it and screwing it up, and I might be able to help you out. But that's essentially, you'll get it if you play around with it a lot enough. it is awkward to begin with, but they're all about setting the stick going and then trying to get out of the way, whether it's that one or that one or that one or that one. But like that, I think this looks the coolest, but I'm always too scared to do it. Thomas Lang can keep this going really well around there and his other fingers and stuff, and get all sorts of stuff going on. But you know, there's only so much practice time in the day, and how much of it do you want to spend on doing stick twirling stuff? I don't know. So yeah, like I say, they're the ones that I use. I am going to post underneath this video the Chris Coleman Start of the Solo workshop to give you a taste of some of the stuff that you can get in the masterclass, but there's all sorts of stuff covered in there. I mean, this is like a full-on solo, and even if you are, you know, a sort of intermediate drummer, you'll certainly get licks out of it. You'll certainly get things that you can use and get some ideas, and you'll see how I break down things that I initially don't think I'm going to be able to play to the point where I can actually play them. So hopefully it'll give you some confidence. There's a lot of people who've sent me emails and said that, you know, they never thought they would be able to get anywhere with that kind of thing, but I literally break it down. I mean, take a look and see for yourself. But keep in mind that the other masterclasses that are up there cover a whole bunch of things, from coming up with creative grooves to ideas for solos to hand technique concepts and, you know, ways to just tighten up your playing and everything. So yeah, I hope you'll check it out, and thanks for subscribing to this short series of free video lessons.